Welcome back to the Remedial Film Class Podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm Travis.
And I'm George.
George, it sounds like it's medication time. Medication time. Medication time.
It is medication time.
I just want my cigarettes.
You know what's funny? I sound like I just smoked a pack of Benson and Hedges. I had a cold recently, guys. So
Sounds
I
like you might
apologize.
still have a cold, bro.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I mean,
It's
I
just
know
a
we
little,
said
it's just a little Delta variant. It's no big deal.
I know we said this movie was option D, but that didn't mean you had to get out there and get yourself
Yeah.
the Delta variant.
The
but
Delta.
Yeah. Well.
Can you taste anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
I think you're...
No, actually, Delta's not doing the smell taste thing.
Oh,
Oh
great.
Yeah.
God. We're
I
learning
know.
new
Just
things
when you
every day
thought
here
you
at the
figured it
podcast.
out, it's over. Damn. I'm just gonna stay in my house.
No,
for the
I
next
had
5 years.
I had what I would describe as a common cold.
Really? You sure it wasn't like?
It was an
Purposefully.
uncommon.
Oh, it was
Common
uncommon.
cold. It's uncommon for me to get a
Uncommon
common cold.
Right.
Anyway,
Get your.
so I
zinc,
apologize
your
for
vitamin
my voice.
You've got a high standard for colds. You try not to deal the common ones. You only like the rare ones.
C.
It's true.
Yeah. He
That's
likes
true.
the variants.
It's good to have standards.
When I go hard. I go big.
We watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a classic American film. George, initial impressions. Are you happy we made you watch this movie?
It was a fine movie.
A fine movie.
It was fine, and not like, it's like, oh well, this is fine. It's like, no, this is like the fine wine. It's a fine movie.
It did win 5 Oscars.
It's great. No,
So,
I'm saying a fine wine
It
is
was
better
fine.
than a great wine.
Absolutely.
A fine wine. This is a fine movie.
I smell what you're cooking.
Is this
very
your
good.
new favorite Paul Verhoeven movie?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
What?
Shit. Curveball.
This is
I'm kidding. It's not a Paul Verhoeven movie.
no, obviously.
I mean, I don't know. Guys got range.
Yeah. I just wanted to get your take before I go and talk about it.
My take?
Yeah.
Gives a crap what I think.
Well, it's because it's about you. I've been wanting to watch this movie since like season 1, so.
Yeah.
Did you get the crazy Jack Nicholson that you were hoping for, George?
He wasn't as crazy as I thought he'd be, but he was more unpredictable than I thought he'd be. Lots of surprises.
It's good to see, like, because we watched The Shining so recently, to see Crazy Jack play off of 1 or 2 characters. And then to see Crazy Jack play off of 18 crazy people.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a bad actor in his movie. And a lot of them are faces that you'll see a lot later in a lot of movies, but they were kind of unknowns.
And faces
back
that
then.
we've seen before.
Yes.
Frickin' Doc was in the movie
Yes.
Yes,
Doc
he
Brown.
was.
from episode 1 with the same crazy eyes.
I'm
like, is
surprised
this
you
like a
remembered that
sequel?
far back, honestly.
Oh, dude, he's so recognizable.
Yeah, my son even said, "Isn't that Doc Brown?"
I'm thinking, like, did he like crash the DeLorean and he started talking about time travel and they were like, we got to get this guy to the mental institution.
Maybe this was the first version of 12 Monkeys where Doc Brown went back and influenced the movie that actually had to happen.
Maybe.
And he had to go back in time to influence it.
Maybe. Dan's like barfing in his mouth right
Yeah,
now.
anytime you mention 12 Monkeys, I unplug my headphones and walk away.
Oh, come on. You can tell that
Come on, man.
Brad Pitt had to sit down and watch this movie just to get some kind of influence.
Yeah, he sat down and watched it once and thought,
And
you know
then
what?
he's-
I'm just going
I
to
can
do it
do
on the
better.
night because
Dude, on the night.
I don't need to actually like practice or. Here's the
Ugh.
thing, man. And I was thinking about today watching this movie again, watching Cuckoo's Nest. The crazy people in this movie are played by actors who aren't as crazy as they act, right?
Mm.
None of them have like a delight in their crazy. They
Right.
play either like just, disconnected from reality, or they play like, they demonstrate crazy behavior and they show like either regret or like concern, like a lack of control.
Mm-hmm.
None of them like bounce around and like frolic
We're at 11.
and they're crazy, right?
Right.
I feel like Brad Pitt's performance, he had like some of the mannerisms he'd seen people demonstrate, but then he just like frolicked in them. Like it was a good time. Ooh, look at me. I'm so crazy. And 12 Monkeys. Ugh. But this
nailed it.
is awesome.
Yeah.
I liked when the actors playing the crazy people would display emotions, but they were
Inappropriate for the situation.
They were inappropriate, but the character was also searching for appropriate. Like reading the room, it was like the crazy person was like making a human emotional reaction, reading the room and saying, "Is this right? Is this the right reaction?" Because they just don't know.
Like Danny DeVito. He had that constant grimace on his face, like
yeah, but he doesn't know
he's like
if
a child.
That's appropriate or what.
Yeah, it's kind of
so
like
good.
like you have like a 10-year-old son who has this joke in his head and he wants to say it, but he doesn't know where it fits. So he just keeps making this face like, now? And you're like, no, not right now.
That's not the punchline. That's not, no, keep going.
Yeah.
That's
just
the
wait.
funny part.
Yeah. The whole time I'm watching him, I'm thinking of that.
Now, George, do you know Danny DeVito? Are you familiar with his work?
I mean, Danny DeVito, that's like, he's the dude from It's Always Sunny, right?
He's the dude playing the dude. Disguised as another dude. He's in some movies.
He's been in a movie or two
know.
over the years. And yes,
Yeah,
he is on Always Sunny. I'm pretty sure he's the one who pooped the bed, if I remember right.
Yes. Yeah, so I know he's a big actor. I know that It's Always Sunny isn't the first thing that he did. That's what I know him from. I've seen him most from that. But yeah, I know Danny DeVito.
To see Nicholson be at his prime doing this movie and know that probably 3 or 4 of those guys are 15 years away from their best work is kind of cool to watch. Like Brad Dourif.
Oh, Brad Dourif, my favorite. Billy. Oh,
yeah,
so good. So hold on, let's just let's put a pin in it. George, Brad Dourif played Billy.
Yeah.
What an actor, right?
What else did he play that we watched recently?
I don't think you've seen him. I just keep bringing him up because I love him.
Okay.
We bring him up a few times, yeah.
Yeah, because you've said that he has like range, right?
Holy mackerel.
Yeah,
and
he
so
is range.
I need to see him again in something else where he's not this. But yeah, Billy, yeah.
But I mean, he just shows the range in this movie, like that childlike innocence, and then like his reveling in doing something bad. Like it was just so kid-like.
Yeah,
and that's what makes this. I mean, this when you kept talking about tragedies, I'm like, this is the movie I want him to watch because this movie is.
It's so good
from beginning to end is a tragedy. From the moment Nicholson walks in there to the end, it's tragic all the way around.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all tragic.
No, it's heartfelt, like to watch him interact with them. And like I was talking to someone the other day and we were talking about how he was more qualified to be their doctor than Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
Like he knew how to, we all kind of play sports and stuff and we have those coaches that know how to get us to do stuff or know how to go down to the level of the kids and get them really involved instead of like just barking stuff at them and making them do stuff. They almost
but then again, it's also like sometimes appropriate to be like chill out,
yeah,
and he would know how to how to.
He was like the big brother and then the father when he had to be.
Yeah, like when what's his face was going nuts about his cigarettes.
Yeah,
right. And he says, don't you agree? And he says, yes, I agree, but you got to sit down, like, or you got to chill out.
Yeah,
it's like, yes, I agree, chill out.
Well, he doesn't want them to lose all their privileges, or he knows she's insane.
Right, but that's what he needed to hear at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, like, obviously, Nurse Ratched was a slimy human being. Like,
from the get-go.
She goes from, like, she's just manipulating. She's manipulating mentally ill people.
Yeah.
Like, how much slimier can you be?
And she does it with that nice voice.
And she's
so condescending.
Dude, she does it to the point where Billy kills himself over it. Like, she manipulates him to a point where he kills himself.
Spoilers.
That's Nurse Ratched. Like, holy crap.
One of the great movie villains, man, and she doesn't lift a finger.
Oh my God.
Every time I see her in this movie, I think of they always say, "Oh, well, Darth Vader," or this and that when they talk about villains, and I'm like, when I see Ratchet, I think of when Han Solo said, if they brought him in Empire, and he's like, he never even asked me any questions. Like, he was completely tortured, and he was never asked any questions. I'm like, Darth Vader's Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
Completely Nurse Ratched. Such a bitch.
I'll tell you what, though, like, when McMurphy had his hands around her neck, I was like, I hope he fucking kills her.
Mm. Yeah.
I hope he does. Because this whole movie would be worth it.
Yeah, that's a weird part.
I mean, like, his whole being there forever would be worth it. Because he's going to be there forever anyway. Might as well take her out, right? That's how I felt.
You'll sit there and you'll be like, okay, it's McGreedy. Is it McGreedy? Not McGreedy. Oh my God, McMurphy.
McMurphy.
I have the thing on my head. McGreedy, McMurphy. McMurphy was at fault per se because he put them in the situation, but he also made them live. So it's like,
sure, took him out on a
it's
boat,
like
man.
it's a catch-22 because he kind of made them emboldened and made them more independent, which got them in a lot of trouble. And then obviously it made Billy, he tempted him with a girl and he did all these things, and then she just manipulates the situation to a point where, yeah, he wouldn't have thought that was going to happen, but he did have that information. He did know he was suicidal at some point. So to let him go down that road was
not,
but it's not.
It wasn't the
McMurphy's
guilt of
fault.
what he did or blah 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 blah. It was Nurse Ratched manipulating him and saying that she's really good friends with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna tell his mother and blah blah blah. And he has this thing with with his mother, and she knew that was the thing. That was gonna make him feel like shit over this. That was the thing, and then she went there, and that's what happened.
That's why
I don't blame him at all for that.
When you go and you watch Bates Motel, you'll think of this movie.
Yeah,
because it's that Billy has that relationship.
Yep.
That Norman has.
Yep.
So much of this movie that you expect to be, I mean, from the poster, right? From the reputation of this film, you expect crazy Jack Nicholson in a crazy house with a bunch of crazy people. The movie itself, though, it's thematically just like a power struggle, right? Him thinking he's in control of his situation and pushing the boundaries, and then about halfway through the movie realizing he has no control and he better back off a little bit or he's never getting out. Just power dynamic versus power dynamic, and then his kind of, careening toward the end, and then that little bit of humanity for Billy that just gets him right there before he's almost able to make his escape.
And then Chief. I love Chief.
Gotta love Chief.
That's the heart of the movie right there.
What can you say about Chief?
Can we say about Chief? I don't know. It's one of those parts where he's a forgettable character until he doesn't have to be, or until they basically reveal him. Like he's kind of I guess when they play basketball is when he starts coming to the forefront.
I'd say Chief is the guy in this movie that gets it. He was quiet and, well, I mean,
did they ever reveal why he was in there?
I don't really get the conversation. He had a conversation with McMurphy about his father who was drinking and whatever.
Right.
And
not whatever. He says one of the best.
Yeah, I didn't really get it. What was going on?
If by the end his father wasn't consuming the bottle was consuming his father.
Him. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Right, and then McMurphy asked him straight up, "Did you kill him?" And he said, "No." I thought I'd have to go back and watch it. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah,
what,
I mean,
what happened
they
there?
don't reveal why everybody's in there, which I guess is, me. I want to know why. I want to know the backstories.
It's better not to have all the detail, man. It's just like James Gunn. Better
sometimes.
I know. But I mean, with like McMurphy, his backstory makes him less of a likable character. The underage, the statutory rape.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it.
The assault's like whatever, but statutory rape is like,
But it's not even that. It's what he says about it. Like, he says she was 15, blah, blah, blah. And then he, says something really inappropriate
Yeah,
about
it
her.
gets
And I'm
gross
just like,
real fast.
and I'm just like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not holding back with that.
Agreed.
Very inappropriate, what he said. Can't repeat it.
That'd be a double clap for sure.
Yes.
Jeez
Yes.
And then Scatman shows up. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in this, and I was just like, wait a minute. Before you see his face, I saw him walking somebody down the hall. I'm like, that looks like Scatman.
Is that the nighttime guard?
Yeah, it's the old guy from The Shining. The old man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, this came second, right?
No, this
He did
came.
Shining.
This
He
came
did this
10
before
years
The Shining.
before, or 5 years before the
5
Shining.
years. Okay.
It's really interesting because this movie falls during that period where the mental health structure of the country is about to go away from asylums. And you can debate whether or not things are better now for mental health in this country than they were in the 50s, say. But this is that period where public consciousness is starting to pick up on the fact that some of the asylums maybe aren't treating people in the ideal way.
Right.
No.
But then you start to, it's interesting where it's going to fall in on social change, because are things better now? That's for another show.
You mean that there were some asylums that were trying to keep people in there to make money off of them?
Yeah, what do they think they are? Prisons? Jeez.
Because if they didn't have patients, then they wouldn't make money. So it stands to reason that they would try and keep their patients there, right?
I don't know, man.
You can't even call them patients.
That's above my pay grade.
Well, it even got to the point where they were basically implying that the system creates crazy. You could be borderline, and then by the end of the process, you're lobotomized.
That's absolutely what this says.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
What this movie shows, anyway.
Well, this one, it's not like he ever really thought he was crazy. He was just looking for a way to control his destiny. So he goes to a mental place. He thinks he can just have his run of the place for his 68 days, and then he's out. And it's only once he brings it up with the attending that, oh, wait, now I've lost total control. I thought I was exerting control, and instead I was, ceasing to have control. And I'm just now realizing the consequences of my decision.
And
excuse me while I towel off and get out of this bottle. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a victim of his own. I guess he wouldn't be considered a narcissist, but what would he be considered?
I think he could be considered a narcissist.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a mental health
a
professional, but he had a very high opinion of himself. I observed. I don't know. I think he was just an impulsive dude, I guess.
Yeah.
That seemed like that was his problem.
Well, what does he say? They put me in here because I like to fight and fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God. This guy.
Well, he gets his in the end, I mean.
True.
Whether it's just or not. It is interesting, though, because I think you're supposed to, as an audience, maybe this is just maybe they didn't intend this, maybe it just is accidental. But you get the impression, as he is kind of the main character, despite his place in the credits, you get the idea that McMurphy is supposed to be your avatar as a non-crazy person entering the crazy house, right? I feel like as much as we're using the word crazy, we're probably going to get in trouble. And I don't care, because it's late and I'm tired.
In the context of the movie, that's what they're called.
So he,
that's what the doctors in the movie called him. So
as a person who is not really suited to be in this place, except that he manipulates his way in, he becomes our avatar as in a mental institution people going into a place we really don't belong. And so I think there's a knee-jerk reaction to be like, yes, this guy is our guy, and he's likable Jack Nicholson. And then you just kind of have to make a face and the part where you find out what he did to get into the system in the first place. I get the feeling that the way they present it makes me think that when it came out, you were supposed to be like, I mean, you know, like
right.
just kind of gloss over that. Cool, man, whatever. Could have happened to anybody. You know, you different
Yeah,
time.
I mean, she said she was 18.
It's a
Well,
different
at the time,
guys.
I mean, you think
Different
about
time.
it, like
right, that's what I'm saying. Back
all
then,
those,
it was like,
all
oh,
those people that made movies back then, they stood up and applauded Roman Polanski pretty quickly at his honoring at the Oscars, even though he's still not in the country for
that,
that.
basically.
Right. So, you know, they'll pick and choose.
and obviously, I mean, I don't know if it was going on back then, probably, but Hollywood has a kind of a shitty history.
Yeah, casting
reputation
couch
for all
was
this
huge
shit.
back then.
So,
Like, everybody talked about that. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess they pick and choose.
It just doesn't age well, particularly to have that be the thing that got your, you know, nowadays it could be like, hey, man, I was stealing Bitcoin. You'd be like, hey, Bitcoin. Everybody does that, right? Dogga coin to the moon. And then you'd be like, yeah, this is our guy. I guess. I don't know.
I own a piece of that Degas painting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we got our non-fungible tokens or whatever. Are those over already? I haven't heard anybody talk about those
I
in
don't
like
know.
I
a
don't know.
month.
They were big a month ago.
Digital currency is stupid. I'm taking a hot take on that one, but ugh.
Can we talk about the acting?
No.
Is there acting in this movie?
No.
Because I couldn't tell because everybody was so fucking good. I thought they
Yeah.
were really crazy.
That's what they say. It's like if you're acting, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah,
I guess
Brad
they were
Pitt.
Playing or being would be the term. There's just so many subtle things that I'm still catching stuff. I've seen this probably about 25 times. It's a acting masterpiece for me. It's an inspiring movie. I'll watch a movie like this just to get in the mode or in the mood. Mode.
Oh, Lord.
Not that kind of mood.
Like
Like if I'm gonna be in a
Where's
play
my
or something.
cigarettes? Meow, meow.
And then he lights them on fire.
Oh, jeez.
You know who's in this? Dan, did you recognize him? He's like an extra crazy person or mentally.
If you say Michael
disabled.
Berryman, I'm going to say, yes, I did notice that.
Yes.
Yeah, he shows up.
Michael
I go,
Berryman.
these hills also have eyes.
Yeah.
George
He's,
doesn't know who that is yet.
No.
Might be
I
a
don't.
while.
Yeah.
He's a very famous, like, face.
Yeah. When we watch like Weird Science or Hills Have Eyes or something, you'll see him and you'll be like, oh my God, I've seen that guy everywhere.
Where did he show up here?
He was just one of the patients.
He was
like on
drinking booze out of an IV. Like
He looks like, you saw Goonies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he looks like an unexaggerated version of Sloth.
Oh, he was the dude that was. The first time you saw him, I think he was like chained to the wall or something. Remember when
I know when they're
McMurphy was trying to get people to vote?
yes,
And he
was
goes up
against
to
the wall.
he goes up to him
Mhm.
and he just like doesn't even try, and he
Mhm.
goes to the next person. That dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, he looks a
And
little
then-
bit like Jason Voorhees.
yes.
Yeah.
So in The Hills Have Eyes, he was the only cast member that didn't have to wear makeup to look like a Appalachian, mutant.
Okay.
Yeah, he's distinct.
I was really happy to see Vincent Ciavelli show up too. Now that's not a name you should probably know, but he's in Batman Returns as like a C-grade henchman.
Mm.
And he's here. He's the one who pokes the fish hook through the fish eye and kind of like
That was good.
kind of an odd-looking dude. So it's
Takes
interesting
the
that
eye out and then puts it back.
him and
Wait,
Devito teamed
on a
up
second.
years later.
What?
For a second there, I didn't know who he was talking about because of the reference of, you said Batman Returns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like the ringleader of the Penguins guys. But like everybody knows him for Fast Times at When we do Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you'll
Right.
see him and you'll be like, "Oh, that's the guy from
Okay.
And then he was in Ghost. I don't know if you saw Ghost, but he's like he's like a featured ghost in that movie, and it's like when you see him in this movie, everybody always says, "Hey, that's the guy from Ghost." But the Batman Returns reference is funny because that's just Dan.
That's just Dan. Yeah.
That's Dan, because he's the guy with the grinder monkey.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny.
This movie,
good character actor.
This cast is very much the freaks and geeks of 1975.
Yeah.
If you ever watch that show, everybody on that show now is like a famous person who's doing all kinds of crazy things now, and at the time they were nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty cool. It's fun to go back to stuff like this. Because it's bonkers to think that like Christopher Lloyd hasn't done Taxi with Danny DeVito yet when this movie comes out.
Right. Yeah, this is like, what, 10 years before that?
Just a couple.
Years?
But it's just like, it's just foundational to all
that
of
was
our
them at their prime.
comedy culture. It's bizarre, man. And Brad Dourif, can we say again? There is no seam with that man. Like when you see him acting, he is just being in every role. Even if the movie blows, right? Even if it's Color of Night, which is, I mean, it's got its upsides, but it's not a great movie. Brad Dourif acts his ass off anyway. He doesn't care, you know.
Well, even as the voice of Chucky, he throws it down.
I mean, that's a pretty serious flick, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's the comedic. He's the wisecracking.
I don't
killer.
see any comedy in such a tragic tale, Travis. Gosh,
as a killer toy,
hard-edged horror. That one, straight out of the headlines.
I'm not a fan of Child's Play, so you can rip on it all you want.
I like the first one, all right.
It's okay.
Second one's got one really good kill.
Yeah, but I just don't like the character. I get so angry when people do like artwork and it's the 5 icons and then Chucky makes his way in there. I'm like, wait, what?
Get off that poster, Chucky.
Why is he in there? He's not even scary. Oh, whatever.
I met someone named Michael Myers this week.
Did you really?
I did.
Is he
It
from
wasn't Mike Myers, was it?
Haddonfield?
No, he was from...
Because Mike Myers is really doing nothing right now. He probably would be in New Jersey.
No, as a young kid, he was in the military. He's from
down
like South Jersey. I forget the name of the place.
Is he good at hand-to-hand combat?
He traded in a base at Guitar Center.
Did he go as Michael Myers or Mike Myers?
I don't know.
Both are.
I just took a copy of his ID because we're basically like pawn shop buying this base from him.
Yeah, fair.
So when I was
Did
like,
you give him a little head nod? Like,
I was like, your
see
name.
you.
I was like, oh, your name's Michael Myers. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and you're like, I'm like, I was just like, I didn't want to say anything else because like he probably gets it all the time. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, I get it all the time.
I would have said, are you from Haddonfield?
Yeah, you just pointed.
No, I didn't. I didn't want to. Like, I was just like, this is just weird.
I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, just point at the wall and be like, see anything you like?
Go get me a beer.
Go get me a base.
Should have asked him about the Pasadena walls. He would have been like, what are you talking about?
I should have.
Like, are the walls that thin in Pasadena?
I should have asked his opinion about that.
Ay vey.
Holy mackerel, dudes.
So it's not your... It doesn't beat American Beauty, right? It doesn't beat Silence. Does it beat The Shining?
No.
No?
No, it doesn't beat... It for sure doesn't beat American Beauty. And I think I like The Shining better, especially with all of the different theories that go along with that movie. I like theories, so
Theories are good.
yeah.
Yeah, this movie's pretty straightforward.
Silence. Yeah, it's kind of like it's one of those movies that is, obviously like it unfolds like a play.
Mm-hmm.
Like in acts, and just it's like you said, it's very straightforward, and it and that's not like I'm trying to take anything away from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. In fact, when a movie jumps around all the time, it's kind of annoying. Like this was
Well, I don't know. I know it was a book, and then I don't know if it was a play before it was a movie. Kind of like Few Good Men. Like Few Good Men, when you watch that, it plays like a play. Like
Right.
you're watching it, and you can almost see people moving sets around. Like it's just that's how it feels. So, I believe the movie was made from the play.
A Few Good Men or this one?
A Few Good Men. So
Okay.
I'm wondering if this had. I know it's a stage play. I don't know if it was a stage play before it was a movie. But yeah, it definitely plays like a play.
It's like it reminds me of like
the Crucible.
Probably a bad example, but like Glengarry Glen Ross. You know, like it's the same 8 guys or whatever,
right?
And they're all phenomenal actors,
just put in situations,
and and put in like situations where and it's just like people watching, but it's like really interesting people watching, and the acting is so good that you're like, it's really interesting people watching.
And that's what, to me, that's what, when I think of a movie that is phenomenal acting, I always think, could these guys play these characters in another situation, like completely opposite of this? Like, could you see these 12 guys or 8 guys sitting playing poker? Or could you watch them watch a baseball game? Like, not in an asylum. The characters are so fleshed out that it doesn't matter where you put them. It's going to be good.
Yeah, they
it's
could
like great improv.
They could walk for 2 days to find a dead body, and they would do great at it.
Yeah, because you're invested in the person. Doesn't really matter where they're at. You could pick 3 of these guys up and put them in Jurassic Park, and that would probably be like the coolest 4 or 5 minutes
of their lives,
of our lives, watching them in Jurassic Park.
I mean, you could probably do a crossover between Jurassic Park and Cuckoo's Nest, and it just ends up the prologue to Halloween, with all instead of the dinosaurs getting out, it's just a bunch of crazy people walking around the yard.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of ways, this is it. In no way is this actually related to Halloween, except that I think it visually informs that opening scene. I think when they're doing the opening of Halloween, they're looking at this going, what if all those guys went out that window we broke? And one of those guys is Michael Myers, and he gets on the car.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what, like when I always bring up character development, I always mistakenly say that, and it's really character study. That's what those guys in Halloween would have done as actors. They would have said, okay, what if we were all with McMurphy and we all got out? What was I doing before he broke that window? And then that's what kind of state, which inmate am I? Which patient am I? Am I like the guy who just kind of sits in the chair? Am I the guy that's, doing dance moves? Am I like
the dancing guy was cool?
Am I the guy stirring the pot?
It's just a shame that Carpenter didn't see this movie until well after he made Halloween.
It's true. That's true.
He saw this after. Completely uninspired. And if he was, he wouldn't tell you. Don't ask me again. Where are my cigarettes?
All right, Dan, your time's up.
Oh.
Very nice to meet you,
Very nice to meet you. I know I gave that other guy an hour, but you only get 8 minutes.
Before you ask me another question. Goodbye.
Next, you're going to ask me about the, how I wrote the song. Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
Oh, jeez.
I know your angle. You're out of here in 8 minutes.
How did the theme song to Cuckoo's Nest go?
Oh my God, I didn't even hear it.
Was there a
any
score?
bells?
I don't know.
Was there any chimes or bells?
I don't remember.
It's not it doesn't stick out to me at all as this movie doesn't even have music except for on the record. Like in my head, it didn't. If it's there, it didn't stick a bit. That's always kind of weird.
That actually probably means it's good.
Yeah,
because it didn't get in the way.
What city did this take place in? Did they even establish that? I was picturing like San Francisco area, but it was a little cold.
Yeah, I was
But it
getting an
had-
East Coast vibe, but I don't know that it
So
ever
was
actually
I.
said.
Really? I was thinking maybe even like Seattle area, because it kind of had like that dreary, raining all the time feel.
I was
But it
thinking
was cold.
Boston.
Boston?
That's what I was thinking, but like I don't think they ever say it.
No. But like he's in the baseball.
Right.
So it could be a baseball town.
Could be New York.
But the locations where they went fishing and stuff didn't have like that harbor feel. It kind of, like you said, it had like either Boston or even like up towards Maine, maybe Connecticut or something. I don't know.
Well, hopefully they were close to Canada, so the chief could make it there.
Hmm. Hey, maybe they were. Maybe it was like upstate New York or something. Wasn't sure if they established that.
It's a really strange movie because you can legitimately say to somebody like, "Oh, hey, tell me the plot of Cuckoo's Nest," and it's like, guy goes to jail, manipulates his way into a crazy house to make it easier on himself, gets screwed over by a power struggle with the administration, ends up lobotomized, and mercy killed.
Which is pretty much the story of everybody who has a job. I mean, really. That's how I feel. I got tricked in. I mean,
it's not a complex plot, right? There's one good turn. It's not so much a twist as it is just a development when he
Right.
realizes he's way less in control and needs to shape up his behavior, but it's too late. He's already burned all the bridges. Like, there's really
being
just
a dick.
there's not a lot of distance covered in this movie, right? But the performances are so strong, and they just like indulge you with character development and fun interactions and stuff that you don't really need. It's not hurting for more plot, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm.
See, it was the little things for me that were twists. Like I said, McMurphy's character, actually a lot of the characters, they were unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like they did things out of nowhere. Sometimes they didn't do things that I thought they would do. Like jump out the window in the middle of the night when it was open.
Mm-hmm.
Like why? And then when Billy, kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert.
I haven't seen it.
McMurphy runs into the room and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like the guard was there.
Mm-hmm.
The guard told you to put the keys down. You're about to leave. You're about
Mm-hmm.
to be gone. And
you stay.
something's happening with Billy and it's like, well, you know what? It's like Billy had a great night. Good luck to him. I'm out.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. And that's what I mean by like it was unpredictable. It was,
And all of them announcing that they're there voluntarily.
Yeah, that too.
That was a nice little twist.
Yep. And that little thing, them all, basically the reveal that like everyone's just there because they think they need it. It's voluntary for them. It's a little thing, but it's huge, and it's not even delivered like extravagantly. It's just
it's matter of fact.
But it does mean a whole hell of a lot to McMurphy.
Because in the end, he's the only one who's really there.
Aside from a few people that are
Right.
really, really need to be there.
Kind of
Yeah.
begs the question, does he actually need to be there? Even though he thinks he doesn't need to
No.
be there, but I mean, does he need to be there more than he knows? I don't
he needs to.
know.
No, he needs to be in jail.
Like, I think when you said he didn't run when Billy, he, in a weird way, I guess because of his narcissism or, he developed a relationship to where he almost thought they couldn't do anything without him. So he didn't want to leave it. But he wanted to leave it. But then he couldn't leave it because they needed him. But they really didn't need him. But in his mind, they needed him. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, it's like
he is sick.
It's like a toxic family for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas he is, necessary to all success.
Like, it's almost like he could have left without getting in the fight with the orderly. But then, what's fun in that? He wants to get in that scrap because he probably wants to hit him. So it's like almost like a selfishness. He could have left, but he wanted to scrap with the orderly. But then he could have left, but he wanted to be a part of whatever happened to Billy. Like, it's almost like he doesn't want to. I don't want to say he doesn't want to miss anything, but he always feels like he's needed.
You know what I was thinking while watching this movie, because of all these weird things, these character surprises. They're not really surprises. They're just like,
Reveals.
yeah. So what I was thinking was like, is he actually crazy and like the window's not open? Is he like actually crazy and he's not as high and mighty as he acts? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Did all this really happen, or is he really sitting there drooling?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. But no, it didn't end like that. But I was thinking that. I'm like,
is he on Mars?
Are they gonna reveal this like at the end that he's just completely freaking nuts and none of this is happening?
Well, you could Jacob's ladder it, and say that after the initial electroshock, that inside of his mind he thinks that he can fake his way back to normalcy, but in reality he's just been obliterated through that. If that were the case, you wouldn't. I mean, it would be hard to support that. But YouTube, I'm sure there's a video out there that says that in fact the light switches are upside down every time he's post electroshock therapy or something. But
Stop. That was an interesting take.
So is this one.
Dude, honestly, that take, going back to The Shining.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's her name?
Shelley Duvall.
The
Wendy.
The Wendy theory.
Yeah.
I think it's true, man.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's true.
I'm not even saying that it's possible.
Enough.
I'm saying it's fucking true.
It's Nostradamus type shit.
Yes.
It's like when you read a quatrain, you're like, he's talking about Hitler. No, he's not. You just suggested that. Yeah, but he could be. It's there if you want to read it that way.
I just know, and I'm not one of those guys that says like Kubrick can't make mistakes because he's Kubrick. I'm not one of those guys. But like,
it was purposeful.
They make a really good case for that.
Telling you,
I really think Wendy's the crazy one in that movie now. I really do.
You know what convinced me?
That's how I watch it now.
You know how it convinced me? The scene when they talk about she came in there and he's like, whether I'm in here and I'm typing, whether I'm typing, when I'm not typing, I'm in here, I'm working.
Right.
That scene where they say he pulls the paper out of the typewriter, he never puts another piece in. They have their exchange. She doesn't say a word to him. He flips out on her. She leaves the room, and then the paper's still in the typewriter.
Yep.
And he's staring off into nothing.
None of that happened.
That's why I was like, you know what? That looks purposely done. Not to mention the furniture's leaving and staying and leaving.
Yes.
And staying.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm loving that. Whether
the
any of that happens in this movie?
The light switches not being there, and then the light switches being there, and the furniture being moved, obviously, and just the camera shots from the back. All of these things, they coincide with like
Dan's doing that Robert Downey Jr. eye roll meme.
I've got a real case of the 12 monkeys over here, guys.
Dan, did you watch that full Wendy theory video?
I haven't yet. No.
All right.
I have enough going on that I can't.
Think about it's a documentary made by Argento. Watch it. It's Argento talking about Kubrick and his brilliance. And watch it.
I mean, it's just like Joni Mitchell was like tapped into the future, man. She was like, oh, I'm going to talk about, leave me the birds and the bees, man. Because she knew we were going to kill all the bees with the DDT, man.
What's that?
Make this into a t-shirt. The Wendy theory is true.
Yeah.
The Wendy theory blows. Hey, speaking of Argento, though, this movie is almost a Giallo at one point. Did you catch that?
No.
There's the scene where they're all hanging out and getting ready to party in the nurses' station. The one lady, friend of, you got me saying McCready.
McCready.
Jack Nicholson's girlfriend is carrying a big old bottle of J&B.
Candy?
Yes.
And I mean, that's every Giallo
scotch
drink. And so I took a picture of a freeze frame of that today. I sent it to your text so you can see it. And the way I framed it, you guys won't get this reference, but it looks straight out of Strip Nude for Your Killer, which we've mentioned on this show before. So I sent it to Aaron, and I was like, dude, I'm watching a Giallo today. He still has no idea what movie we're watching because he thought it was Strip Nude.
He's a super fan, bro.
He's a super fan.
You can't call him a fan.
He's on our Patreon that we don't have.
That's selling him short, just calling him a fan. He's a super fan.
Uber fan.
But yeah, it's a fun freeze frame because her haircut and her outfit look like she could be in an Italian Giallo in 1975. It's perfect.
You know what vibe I kept getting watching this? This is a serious version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh God.
Get that YouTube video ready.
It's like tragic.
McMurphy is Ferris.
He kind of is.
And
if Ferris Bueller was a rapist,
and all the patients are Cameron.
Well, in that case, if Jack
Rooney?
Nicholson even exists, maybe this is all in Chief's head. Maybe this is just the narrative that gets Chief.
I'm gonna have to check out the light switches, but I'm just saying, it could be all in Chief's head. But I mean, even Nurse Ratched is Principal Rooney.
You know what was what I liked when McMurphy was talking to the doctor, like the guy who runs the place,
the fisherman.
Yes,
the guy who had the fishing.
yes,
yeah.
About Nurse Ratched, and he was like trying to get out of him like what his problem was with her, and he did not go into specifics, like because you know that like if you go into specifics, you lose.
Yeah,
and but what he said was, she's the kind of person that likes a rigged game,
and the guy agreed because they all know her, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, that was just perfect, and that makes me think he's not fucking crazy. He's not.
She's probably tenured and they can't get rid of her.
No, I think they like her because she keeps these guys in line.
Yeah,
she manipulates them into being in line, but she's good at it.
She's not good at her job though, because those people are not. They could have been so much happier with somebody who knew what the hell they were doing.
Sure, but when you're trying to run a mental institution, like someone that can keep people from freaking out every day, keep them in line any way, like whatever way possible, if they're doing it, they're doing a good job.
Word.
In the management's mind.
I mean, that's kind of the interesting way to look at it on like a second viewing is the evil Nurse Ratched really isn't evil so much as she has her way that she maintains control, and it butts up against what Jack Nicholson is trying to do with his own kind of bombastic personality, him thinking he is free of consequences, not realizing, the turn coming on him. And it's really only her like final attacks on Billy and then on Nicholson that make her into the true evil that you assume the whole time that she's the bad guy, but you could read 3/4 of this movie as she's not actually evil. She just knows that the only way that she can keep order with these guys is her method.
Right,
and Nicholson's messing it up. And Nicholson's the bad guy at that point because he's
bringing the chaos.
He's bringing chaos. But then she gets all petty and evil at the end. And
I like this movie very much. It is the kind of tragedy that I like.
Yes. I assume that.
Because obviously Nicholson was a tragedy. Billy was a tragedy. Chief was a glimmer of hope.
Ironically, because he's the guy who he does the mercy killing. So you're like, they toe that line of, am I supposed to feel good about this? Am I not? Like, I feel good, but I'm still icky about it.
No, you're not supposed to feel good about it, but you're supposed to feel like.
No, you feel
good
like
you feel
Chief.
relieved,
right?
Is what you feel for both of them. Even though, you feel relieved for both of them, and it's almost like the mercy killing at that point is not. It's like not even. You can't even call it murder. I mean, I know, like in the eyes of the law, it's murder,
right?
Because that's what he intended to do when he did
basically.
it. No, I'm not even saying because not even the condition of the person that he killed. Like the law would say, what did you intend to do by covering his face with the pillow? If you intended to end this guy's life, then that's called murder,
right?
Right. So he's guilty, right, of that. But you can't really call it that, or it toes that line where you're like, well, this wasn't malicious.
Right. It was
right?
done out of love, I guess.
It was
Respect.
It was mercy, like, obviously. So like, you're not supposed to feel good about that, but you're supposed to feel like this guy, Chief, is a strong character. He does what he has to do, even if it's difficult. Especially because it's difficult.
Mm.
You have this like respect for him, and this, just you kind of just say, okay, I
Right.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Maybe I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I'd have done something different. Maybe I'd have just stayed.
It just shows that McMurphy made a connection with almost everybody in that hospital.
Even the person that it was impossible to make a connection
Right.
with. So
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
If he actually exists and isn't just a figment of Chief's imagination.
I wish I hadn't said that.
You know what would be cool in today's world of like streaming and stuff? I would love to see a TV show, a miniseries, or maybe 2 seasons or whatever, where they tell this story from the viewpoint of every character. That would be I would subscribe to that. But it would have to have been done 30 years ago because I want to see these guys play these characters.
Yeah, I was going to say they'd ruin it now.
Although, you could get somebody like a Gary Oldman to play the Christopher Lloyd part. You can get people like Willem Dafoe to play these parts.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe would be good.
Where they could watch this movie or read the source material and really develop a really amazing character based on the events of this movie / story, but done in a new way. They're all good enough actors they could do that. You can get even like a Steve Carell. Steve Carell would fucking kill in this movie.
Yeah.
Because if you saw Little Miss Sunshine, he's a character in this movie, in that movie. So he's one of those guys. Even Jim Carrey. Like these comedians are so tragic in their mind that they can really play these kind of characters. That's why I think Christopher Lloyd and Danny DeVito do such a good job, is because they're comedic actors, so they know how to really.
They're already a bit crazy.
They're
in
a
real
little bit
life.
crazy already. Yeah, even like a Bill Burr. I could see Bill Burr playing one of these characters.
Bill Burr
I don't
is
know
one
how
of these characters already.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how his acting is. I know he's in
It's
like
not bad.
Mandalorian, but
In this kind of setting, he could play Bill Burr pretty easily.
I was a little
Yeah.
hesitant at first for your different point of view miniseries until I realized you could call it Rashomania. And now
Or
I'm on board.
Ratchet Mania.
It's Rashomania.
Well, they have a Nurse Ratchet show. It's on. I
Oh,
think
do they?
It's on Netflix. I think it's
I'm
called
just going
Ratchet.
for the Rashomon reference. but
Yeah, it's
I'm
called
really
Ratchet.
reaching. I mean, it's not working. But a few of our audience are laughing at
Right.
what I said, not at me. The rest have all turned it off. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Rashomania. Hey, but before we move on to anything else, I just have to take a moment. We have to acknowledge both of your personal growth. You don't even realize you did it, guys. You did it.
We did the thing.
You
What
made
did we
it
do?
through an entire episode on a 1970s movie, and you didn't criticize the 3M blood.
Oh, I saw it, but I didn't say anything.
Give yourselves a hand, guys.
Yeah. It was pretty red.
Was there bad blood?
Oh
Yeah,
my
Billy's death scene looks like Christmas time.
It looked like somebody spilled model paint on
Yeah.
his neck.
Yeah, somebody melted some Kool-Aid around him.
But it's fine because it's the 70s and that's all they had.
Hmm.
It looked good in the bottle.
I do remember seeing it when it happened
It
recently.
didn't photograph well.
It did not photograph well. We got to get Tom Savini on the line. Tom, I hope you're feeling
Can we
better.
clip that? Just like drop it in, Tom Savini. It did not photograph
Yeah,
well.
that's like our soundbite.
It's in
didn't-
the Dawn of the Dead episode.
No, just like isolate that one line where he's like, "Yeah, it didn't photograph well.
It didn't
just
photograph well."
I have to agree with you.
And just
I love when he
apply
says
it
that. I
and just
agree with you.
apply it to like anything that we don't visually like. Not just blood, just
Yeah, just
anything that didn't
Even
photograph
like
well.
an actress that just doesn't look good. She just
Yeah.
didn't photograph well.
Or just like Steve Buscemi. He just didn't
Oh my
photograph
god,
well.
no.
It would go well with my extended
Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't photograph
my
well.
extended European cut of the Basic Instinct episode where I actually broke the button that deploys the "that's what she said."
Mm.
I had to take him out because it was literally like we were accidentally and on purpose making puns the entire time, and it was just like a constant. That's what she said. That's what she said. That's
It's like the hello, like it just kept coming out. The Mrs. Doubtfire was like out of nowhere, left field. All of a sudden, you hear hello.
so good.
Dan was just hitting that button.
Sure, that's what she said.
Boom.
So good.
I still do that in real life while I'm walking. If it calls for it, someone gets a Doubtfire.
Nice.
I do it at least once a week at work.
So we got to figure out what we're doing next. Well, you know what I want to do, but I know we're not going to. But I'm going to type it out anyway and send it to you. That's
well, the
what
ones I sent you were the ones I was thinking. Yeah, I know. I know.
so desperately. It's perfect. It's perfect.
But I can't believe that would come before so many other movies.
I know, but it's perfect for what we've talked about. What about, because, okay, so Insider Baseball, for the rest of season 2, I think we have 10 total episodes. And at least 4 of those are spoken for. So I think we've
Right.
got 6 to play with. So before we get too far toward the end, it might be time to talk about...
Okay.
You want to go that way? Because I don't want to do that right against the end because it'll be like
Right.
redundant. But I think we're separate enough now that we could get away with that one.
The question would be, would it be a double feature, though, like we did with Godfather?
I'm not opposed.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk about I think that
We did it on the night.
Yeah.
Talk about doing it on the night.
Cause I think that thing you just proposed that I hope George didn't pick up on. I think that's such an interesting kind of counter to what we just did. You know, like a flip side of the coin kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it deals with
So much.
cases.
So much.
Mm-hmm. George just watched the process happen. Trust the process, George.
Yeah.
Trust it. Trust it.
I was right about this movie, though.
How so?
What's that?
Because you said, what do you know about it? And I was like, I think it's Jack Nicholson. I think he plays a crazy person.
Well, I mean, that's
I mean,
fair to assume.
eventually, but he's not that
Yeah.
crazy.
We're going to do as good as it gets next, so. just saying.
But what I didn't know
Just
about this
Jordan.
movie,
He is insane in that movie.
but what I didn't know about this movie was everything else.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that this is where Nurse Ratched came from.
Everything that makes this movie good, you didn't know about.
I didn't know that it was a mental institution.
Right.
I was like, I don't know. I think he's crazy as like, like
In prison.
crazy like Fiddler on the Roof crazy. I don't know. Could have been anywhere.
Word.
The only thing I knew was Jack Nicholson crazy.
Yeah. There's so many, like, Ratchet
And he wasn't even
references and
crazy. I was
stuff.
wrong. He wasn't
No,
even
he's
crazy.
not crazy. He kind of went crazy. Like, being
Yeah.
in the system kind of made him nuts.
So anyway, where are we going next?
We're going to do Tangled.
Oh, it's such a good movie. That's like my favorite Pixar
We should.
movie.
Me too. We should probably do a Disney season.
Going to Pete's Dragon.
Ooh. Remake's pretty good.
Oh, man, no. You don't need a remake.
The
That old
remake of
one.
Pete's Dragon is not bad.
I haven't seen it because I don't need it because I have the old one.
No, the old one is classic. I mean, you can't beat it. But the remake's not bad. Not necessary, but not bad. All right. So we are going to finally do something for you, George, that you might not thought you needed, or wanted, but you do need.
Okay.
We are going to take a trip down Elm Street.
For real?
For reals. We will be watching the
Sweet.
1984 Wes Craven Nightmare on Elm Street.
Love it.
Now, I know you probably have preconceived notion. You know stuff about it.
I know
So,
the character, yeah.
Right. So what do you think happens? Like what could we use as of a laugh track of what you might be wrong about?
I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea of this character's MO.
Okay, go on.
Put it that way.
Put it on record.
Like, what do you know about him?
Black leather jacket, big machine gun. Go on.
Does he have pins?
No. This is Freddy Krueger, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. It's Freddy Krueger, right?
Is he in the first one? Or is it Mrs. Freddy Krueger?
Is it Mrs. Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
his sister,
you're right.
Nancy.
It's Nancy Krueger.
Nancy Krueger.
I know that he is. There's some part of the plot is like he's in people's dreams, right?
Okay.
He's in people's nightmares, and somehow
Oh, you did
in
see
their
Freddy versus Jason.
in their
so-
nightmares he kills them, right?
Okay.
That's his like MO. I also think I know that he's like his background is he's just a sexual predator or like a child molester or something like that. Like that's his thing. I'm
Okay.
not sure if they develop that like right away or if that's something that's like a
I'm not
fan
going to
thing.
confirm or deny what you're saying.
Okay,
So don't give me
yeah.
that stare.
I'm looking at Trevor like, right?
He's
Am
looking
I
at me like,
on
are you
track?
gonna say yes or no?
no?
I'm just
Okay.
going, oh, yeah.
Um, But
This might be either the red leather or the black leather version. I'm not really sure. This is like
It's gonna be the
Freddy
green- it's gonna
Delirious or
be the-
Freddy Raw.
it's going to be the green and red sweater
Okay.
version. I think.
Nice.
That's what I think.
No, he doesn't get that till he takes it off Shelly in the third one.
Right.
Oh, well, fuck me.
Cool.
Well, I'm
I'm excited.
excited. This will be fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to have seen this by now.
Yeah.
So
We're a
I'm
little
Surprised.
late.
I'm surprised I hadn't
we're a
seen
little
it
late
yet.
on it.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to get you all the references for Scream, and there's really not many Freddy references in Scream, so we were just like, all right, we'll wait.
Except for the janitor.
Yeah, but I mean, you had seen Freddy versus Jason, so
Yeah.
you would have at least known the stripes. Maybe not known that was Wes Craven.
I went trick or treating before, so
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
seen
you've
Freddy
seen.
Krueger.
You're a child of the '80s, like
Yeah.
late '80s,
Yeah.
early '90s. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Freddy stuff.
For whatever reason. But we'll talk about that next week.
but I absolutely have never seen the movies because,
Right.
As we all know, I was sheltered.
You were sheltered.
You ain't seen shit?
I ain't seen shit.
You ain't say shit. We ain't found shit.
Thank you for joining us on the Remedial Film Class Podcast. As always, you can find us at facebook.com/remedialfilmpod. You can find us at Twitter and Instagram at remedialfilmpod. You can email us at remedialfilmpod@gmail.com. And you can find us on all your favorite RSS podcatchers, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, any computer with a web browser. We're there. And we're on YouTube. So if you want to see more than you get on the RSS ones, by golly, head over to YouTube. And we usually throw some special features up there as well. So keep an eye on both your podcast feed and your YouTube subscription. Feel encouraged to subscribe and like our videos on YouTube because that's just like what everybody has to ask for anymore. Because for some reason, even though we all ask for it, nobody ever does it unless we ask you. So this is me asking you, like and subscribe and share. And, you get the idea. We'll be back next week with the original Nightmare on Elm Street.